Are you triggered yet? Are you triggered yet? Let's go! Two balls loaded, aim direct, no one safe from the trigger. Christian, are you triggered yet? Are you triggered yet? We break the lies, respect the elect, stay pulse, stay blessed, stay triggered.
The far-right label, a detective story. Have you been called far-right lately? You do realize that label says more about them than it does about you, right? In fact, the moment someone calls you far-right, they've already given the game away. Because if you are far-right, that only makes sense if they are standing far-left. I'll come back to that. For now, let's play detective. No emotion, no opinion, just clues and Google. That one insult already contains 3 clues: left and right, liberal and conservative, democracy and republicanism. Let's follow them. Clue 1. Left and right. First question. Where did the political terms left and right come from? On-screen search. Origin of left-wing and right-wing politics. The answer points to one place: the French Revolution. In the French National Assembly, those pushing radical change sat on the left. Those defending tradition and the existing order sat on the right. So from the very beginning, left equals radical change, right equals preserving what already exists. Hold that thought. Clue 2. Liberal and conservative. Next question. Where do liberalism and conservatism come from? On-screen search. Where did liberalism and conservatism originate? Both philosophies point back to the French Revolution, but their ideas trace even earlier, to the Enlightenment. Names appear: John Locke, liberal thought; individual rights, Edmund Burke; conservative warnings against radical upheaval. Same era, different conclusions, ideas before action. Clue 3. Democracy and republicanism. Now zoom out from ideology to systems. Where did our political systems come from? On-screen search. Where did democracy and republicanism originate? The answer is immediate. Democracy, Athens, Greece. Republicanism, Rome. Democracy, rule by the people directly. Republic, rule by representatives under law. 2 systems, 2 ancient civilizations, both still shaping the modern world. Another clue added. Clue 4. A pattern of tension. Everything we've uncovered so far shows a pattern. Opposites, conflicts, and systems at play. So here's the next clue. Is there a philosophy that explains change through opposition? Let's look that up. On-screen search. Is there a philosophy that explains change through opposition? Google reveals dialectical philosophy. Hegel's dialectic emerges. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Ideas clash. Conflict intensifies. A new outcome is produced. Conflict isn't accidental. It's built into the engine of change. Interesting. Once conflict drives progress, anything standing firm starts getting labeled extreme. Hold on to that thought. Clue 5. You may have noticed something repeating in these searches: the word Latin. That's another clue. So let's get curious. On-screen search. Left and right in Latin. The results are clear. Left in Latin: sinister, left-handed, unfavorable, even evil. Right in Latin: dexter, right-handed, skilled, strong. This isn't opinion, it's language. And language remembers things people forget. Clue 6. The separation idea. Where did that come from? Well, if you remember in Clue 2, the search came up with the Enlightenment. So let's look that up. On-screen search, the Enlightenment. The AI overview pops up. It says things like reason, knowledge. I see the word reason 5 times. Reason, repeated, emphasized. Then another word keeps appearing. Liberty or freedom, again and again. But hang on, did you catch that? Right back in the first drop-down menu, spiritual awareness. Spiritual awareness, that's interesting. Let's keep reading. So you scroll. Google suggests more questions, drop-downs. You click one, and there it is. Separation of church and state. Oh, that stands out, not buried, not obscure, listed as a core idea. But before we look that up, let's pause. Top 5 Enlightenment thinkers. A list appears. John Locke is there. But one name stands out more than the others. Not Locke, Voltaire. So let's just look him up. Voltaire. The answer appears instantly. Famous for his wit and his criticism of Christianity, especially of the Catholic Church and of slavery. Voltaire was an advocate of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and separation of church and state. There it is, not buried, not implied. Separation of church and state. Explicitly advocated by a critic of Christianity. So now the question changes. This idea didn't just emerge, it was argued for, promoted, pushed forward by someone who openly opposed the church, which raises a new question. If this principle came from a specific worldview, from a specific set of values, from a specific critic, then it isn't neutral at all. So now, let's actually look up separation of church and state. Another clue. What is separation of church and state? Google gives an overview. It says this idea ensures government and religion remain distinct. No state religion, no forced belief. It sounds neutral, protective, even. Then it says something important. This idea originated in Enlightenment thinking. That's a clue. You keep reading. A phrase appears, a wall of separation, attributed to Thomas Jefferson, not from the Constitution itself, but from a letter. Interesting. Then Google clarifies something most people miss. The phrase was meant to protect the church from the state, not to erase religion from public life. So you keep reading. More clue surface. First Amendment. No establishment of religion. No prohibition of free exercise. Not religion must disappear. But government must not control belief. Then another name appears. John Locke, an Enlightenment thinker again. And before him, Roger Williams, a Christian minister, arguing the state should not corrupt the church. So this separation idea didn't begin as anti-God. It began as fear of political power corrupting faith. Then the trail moves forward. Supreme Court interpretations evolve. Some enforce a strict wall. Others relax it. But the origin remains the same. An Enlightenment concept, filtered through philosophy. Then law, not scripture. But, what's this? Another clue. Clue 7. Right at the bottom of the search. Matthew 20-21. Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Perfect. Clear. Government has its domain. God has his. Separation of powers, human and divine, is real. And suddenly that earlier phrase makes sense again. Spiritual awareness. All the Enlightenment breadcrumbs point back to a higher authority, not philosophy, not politics, but spiritual truth. Another clue unlocked. So, we've gone from politics to philosophy. How about now to prophecy? Clue 8. If separation keeps appearing in human systems, where does the Bible talk about separation in society itself? Daniel 2. I've already explored it in detail in a previous breakdown. The prophecy of the statue, unveiling historical empires through Daniel's vision. And isn't it interesting? The same civilization that gave us the Republic, Latin, and the political labels we still use today, is the same civilization Daniel saw as iron in the statue, a kingdom strong as iron, yet later mixed with clay, divided, brittle, unstable. Daniel 31-45. Sound familiar? Our politics today, iron and clay, divided, unstable, morally confused. So when someone calls far right, maybe you're not extreme at all. Maybe you're just standing on truth, while society is mixing like iron and clay. State on one side, church on the other. Two powers trying to unite, but never really bonding. Daniel's words, not mine. And consider this. God made man out of clay. Jeremiah calls him the potter, and thus the clay. Jeremiah 18-126. Clay is pliable, shaped by God's hand, but when mixed with iron, it cannot hold together on its own. So maybe the real question isn't, How far right are you? But how far left? And how divided has the world drifted from God's standard? Left and right are political, iron and clay are prophetic, but good and evil, that's biblical. God shaped man from clay, yet only his kingdom is unshakable. Not Greece, not Rome, not any government today. So if standing with God gets you labeled far right, maybe the label reveals their drift, not your position. Thank you for watching, liking and subscribing. And until next time.
Stay blessed, stay triggered.